Although the Second Amendment lays out the right of the people to keep and bear arms, there's also the 10th Amendment, which is all about states' rights. And some argue that concealed carry reciprocity runs afoul of our forefathers' intentions. Joining me to discuss is Renée Landers, who teaches constitutional law, among other subjects, at Suffolk University Law School. Renée, good to see you.
It's nice to be here, Adam. Thank you.
So what is your quick take? Constitutional carry reciprocity as currently framed by the House, would it pass constitutional muster?
Well, it's hard to say what the ultimate resolution would be, but I think that, certainly it kind of violates fundamental principles of federalism, of allowing states who traditionally have been able to regulate public safety and health issues within their states, and so allowing other states to, undermine a particular state's law by allowing people into the state with concealed weapons that otherwise would not be allowed. It seems problematic.
Am I correct that the law is written in such a way that it leans on the Commerce Clause to I guess, diminish regulation of guns across the country between states, right?
So the idea is that Congress is purporting to rely on its power under the Commerce Clause to regulate interstate commerce. So just a quick look at the statutory language this afternoon seems to suggest that it would apply to guns that have passed in interstate commerce,
right,
which would probably be any gun.
Almost everyone, right, because they're sold and shipped across state lines.
That's
therefore,
right.
Congress can regulate them. And I
That's
know
right.
that there are, I think, some conservatives who are concerned about this, even though they love the idea of people being
right.
able to carry in states like Massachusetts. They think that the House Freedom Caucus
right.
made the argument that the Second Amendment is what allows gun freedoms. It's not the Commerce
right.
Clause. And if you diminish regulation with the Commerce Clause, you can also ramp up regulation down the road with the Commerce Clause.
That's exactly right. So, if the famous health care decision by the Supreme Court of a few years ago the Supreme Court said that Congress did not have the authority under the Commerce Clause to regulate the health insurance markets and impose the individual mandate. So it does seem to be coming back at them. That these laws that can be expansive can also restrict.
And my guess is we'll see that more and more because so many liberals now want to lean on states' rights as a way to make policy in the Trump era. So I would think there'd be a lot of pushback engendered by that.
Indeed, and actually the other part of the healthcare case was the Medicaid expansion piece,
right.
where the Supreme Court said that federalism concepts prohibited Congress from requiring states to adopt the Medicaid expansion in order to keep all the historic Medicaid money that the states had been expanding, had been getting from the federal government. So this is a way, again, kind of the flip side of that whole issue.
Let's talk about plastic bags.
Sure.
I ordinarily love diving into constitutional minutia and trying to figure out what is meant as a non-attorney. It's really interesting to try to speak this language. But when I tried to figure out what Jack Hart, this former state senator who
right.
told Mayor Walsh that this ban could be unconstitutional, what he meant, I totally did not understand what he had to say. His language, and I think we have the text to bring up on the screen, was that this fee provision, namely paying 5 cents for paper bags with handles or reusable plastic bags, this fee provision runs afoul of Section 5 of the Home Rule Amendment, Mass Constitutional Amendment, Article 2, which prohibits municipalities from enacting private or civil law governing civil relationships except as an incident to an exercise of an independent municipal power. Renée, I've read this about 10 times. I have no idea. What does it mean? What does it mean?
Well, so he's basically trying to say that the state law prohibits municipalities from enacting these requirements. The problem he has, that I'm not aware that the Supreme Judicial Court has actually decided this question definitively, but the State Attorney General, in approving the plastic bottle ban that Concord enacted a few years ago, actually addressed this constitutional issue and saw no problem with that.
In layperson's terms, can you just break down that constitutional issue for me? Because I don't even know what he's trying to drive. I should mention Jack Hart is a representative of a plastic bag company, which is how he comes to make this argument. But what's he trying to say?
Well, he's trying to say that the state law prohibits municipalities from regulating relationships between private parties unless they are otherwise authorized to do so. So, the basic bottom line of municipal authority is that municipalities have no authority unless they are delegated that authority by the state. And so he's trying to say that unless there's some independent authority for these local governments to take this action, then they can't do it under Massachusetts law.
Okay, but the AG seems okay with it, and
Right.
60, I think, cities
States
and
and
towns
towns
now
have done
with
that.
Boston have gone ahead and done it.
I live in Watertown, which has had the ban now for more than a year, and you get used to it.
Let me go back really briefly to the gun question, because we have 1 minute left. The law, as currently written, says that if you do concealed carry in your state, you can do it in any other state that currently allows it. Right now, 50 states allow some form of concealed carry.
Right.
If this were to go on the books, if the Senate passed it and they came up with a version they both agreed with, would you see states like Massachusetts saying, well, okay, what we're going to do is not allow concealed carry at all, and therefore, under the law, people will not be able to come in here with their weapons?
I mean, I think that's a theoretical possibility, but I think that even in states that have stricter gun laws, there is this recognition that there are reasonable and lawful uses of guns, and I think that an absolute ban would be probably very politically difficult to pass.
Okay. Renée Landers, thank you as always. Good to see you.
Thank you.